नमस्कार। AIBOBOU आपकी आवाज में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं एडवोकेट लोकेश मिश्रा, ऑल इंडिया बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा ऑफिसर्स एसोसिएशन का सेक्रेटरी हूं, जो कि AIBOA से संबद्ध है, एफिलिएटेड है। आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है दोस्तों। और आज हम खुशकिस्मत हैं कि हम एक ऐसे कम्युनिकेशन चैनल की तरफ जा रहे हैं जहां हमारे साथ एक बहुत महबूब नेता, हमारे लोकप्रिय नेता बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में, जो ऑल इंडिया बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा ऑफिसर्स यूनियन एफिलिएटेड टू AIBOA के महासचिव हैं। और बहुत लॉजिकल तरीके से हम बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में जो प्रिवेलिंग प्रॉब्लम्स हैं अधिकारियों से रिलेटेड, विशेष रूप से उनको हम वोकल आवाज में उठा रहे हैं। स्वागत कॉमरेड राव आपका। और आज के इस एपिसोड को जो फैसिलिटेट कर रहे हैं हमारे साथ महत्वपूर्ण पदाधिकारी हैं, हमारे सहयोगी हैं, कॉमरेड भूषण अरोड़ा, जो ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी हैं ऑल इंडिया बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा ऑफिसर्स यूनियन के। न सिर्फ ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी, बल्कि इस एपिसोड को, जिस कम्युनिकेशन स्किल को हम लेके आए हैं, उसके लिए टेक्निकल एडिटर के रूप में आपके और हमारे बीच में एक ब्रिज का काम कर रहे हैं, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल का काम कर रहे हैं। नमस्कार। कॉमरेड राव,
नमस्ते।
आपका स्वागत है। और आज जब हम इस एपिसोड को कर रहे हैं, और आज से शुरुआत है ये कम्युनिकेशन की, जो हम वर्चुअल मोड पर जा रहे हैं, जो हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया के जैसे सोशल मीडिया के चैनल पर जा रहे हैं, हम इस पृष्ठभूमि में बात कर रहे हैं कि देश ने अभी 77वां गणतंत्र दिवस मनाया है 26 जनवरी को। तो गणतंत्र मनाने का पर्पस देश में सिर्फ और सिर्फ यह है कि एक लोकतंत्र जो देश का चले, वो देश के संविधान के हिसाब से चले, ना कि विम्स एंड फैंसीज, जो लीडरशिप हो या पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो सत्ता में हो या कि ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हो, उनके विम्स एंड फैंसीज के हिसाब से चले। तो हम हमारे संगठन के माध्यम से जो अभी तक आवाज उठाते आए हैं, उसमें हमारा प्रयास कभी भी यह नहीं रहा कि हम बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा के प्रबंधन से कोई चांद और तारों की मांग करें। वी आर नॉट डिमांडिंग मून्स और स्टार्स फ्रॉम देम। वी सिंपली एक्सपेक्ट दैट इन अ रिपब्लिकन इंडिया, इन अ पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक, द बैंक शुड रन as per that policies, as per that DFS guidelines, and not more than that. But not for sure, it should not be at the whims and fancies of that management authorities in arbitrariness. And आज के इस एपिसोड में हम कवर करना चाहेंगे एक सबसे अलार्मिंग इशू को, जो कि है arbitrary transfers। एक बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है, that too in the backdrop कि बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा is struggling with that acute shortage of staff. And in that case, bank does every year across the country, from one corner to another, the transfers of the officers. It is happening. Thousands and thousands of the officers, including lady officers, everyone, their families are destabilized, double establishments, having small children, they are suffering like anything. And this is creating imbalanced work life. That is a problem. Harassment, victimization that is taking place. And things have led to that situation that toxic work culture has been there. In this, the transfer is being made as a tool of harassment and victimization to the officer. So we are trying to go to common officers of Bank of Baroda, as well as we wish that if the management also can access our issues through this episode, if it reaches them, that what are the issues. So, Comrade Rao, आज सबसे पहले मैं आपसे एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं, जो आप जवाब दें कि हु एक्चुअली डिसाइड्स द पॉलिसी मैटर्स, particularly HR policies in public sector bank, whether bank alone or the DFS guidelines are also mandatorily enforceable on them. Comrade Rao, switch over to you.
Thank you. Very happy to give some clarification on the transfer policy of Bank of Baroda. First of all, the Bank of Baroda is owned by Government of India. Bank of Baroda is owned by Government of India, Ministry of Finance, and administratively by Department of Financial Services. Okay. So the Department of Financial Services now and then issues circulars and guidelines about the working functioning of the bank. Not only the issues like transfers, promotions, it gives a lot of guidelines. And officer, Bank of Baroda Officers Service Regulation 51 says that any guidelines of the Government of India shall be the first decision of the board. That means any
To comment, Rao, I'm going to back to, I will give you the time on that when we will come on that mid-academic. Comment, Rao, you were talking about that regulation 51.
yes,
Kindly explain that can the bank take a shield or cover that those guidelines which are issued by the DFS from time to time, they can be considered merely as advisory or legally it is mandatory. Comment, Rao?
yes, Comrade Lokesh, yes, it is legally binding on the bank. It is legally binding on the bank. This is very, very clearly says that government, any decision or guidelines of the Government of India should constitute the first decision of the board. That means board bank has no choice except implementing the guidelines of the DFS or the not only guidelines, even suggestions by the Government of India becomes the board decision. Okay, so the bank cannot say that it is only merely a guideline or an outline or a suggestion by the Government of India or the DFS. They cannot take it like that. They have to implement in toto, in true letter and spirit, about whatever the DFS says. DFS issue any guidelines, any circular, it is the first decision of the board. It is the first decision of the board on that particular matter.
True.
So that is what Regulation 51 clearly says.
Yes.
So when Regulation 51 clearly says that, then bank has no choice except implementing the DFS guidelines. After all, DFS is the owner of this bank, and the owner is telling the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of this bank, that these are the guidelines on which I want to run the institution. Okay, so you run the institution on these guidelines. So the CEO has no right to alter them or to suit to his convenient or to suit to the convenient of any institution. It is not like that. It is the true letter and spirit. Whatever the owner wants, the managing director and CEO or other board to run this bank under particular line, particular guidelines. The board has no choice except implementing the owner's will, owner's guidelines.
Yes, comrade. Thank you very much for that, giving that that much actually knowledge to the for the common officers, and a message also to the management, present management, because I have in my hand a letter written by you to the bank's management, wherein Regulation 51 is quoted, and Regulation 51 is quoted as that government's decision to be constituted as initial decision of the board.
Yes,
that is the fact actually which you have communicated to the bank, in which what is written, that wherever these regulations require that any matter shall be in accordance with the decision of the board, and where such a matter is covered by recommendations made in the report of the committee constituted by government's resolution, that government's resolution number is F.4 within bracket 2672 IR dated 19th July 73. Well, before that regulations were brought. Regulations have come into existence in 1979, that as accepted by the government, together with modifications and alterations thereof, as may from time to time have been or be made by the government, such recommendations shall until varied be deemed to be the board's decision. It is a fact. Your communication is very clear to the bank, but bank is not trying to read or understand. That is a fact. So let us communicate it to the common officers, to common rank and file, to our leaders, to the management also, if they go through over this today's episode, that it is not your choice. whether you will take some of that guidelines as be adopted in the board and some of you will leave. It is not that. Whatever the DFS guidelines are issued, those are mandatory. Yet that rightly you have shown, Comrade Bhushan, on your screen, that key compliance are required. And this whatever the board resolutions are there, you have shown it that DFS guidelines is equal to board decision. That is a fact. So now it must be made clear to the management and common officers that they, as officers, should not suffer with that management's choice, that they will not take that guideline seriously and they will not adopt it. And also that management should understand that they also cannot work in the whims and fancies, arbitrariness, arrogance, pick and choose, anytime transfer. They should not use that right to transfer as a harassment to the officers. So that regulation 51 is okay. Now I am coming on that what are the DFS guidelines? I am referring, Comrade Rao, to you. I am coming to back to you. I recall your attention to please explain that there is one communication dated 3rd May 12, 2012.
Yeah.
3rd May 12. I think you will be able to catch and explain on that. That what does it say?
It is
in case of mid-academic transfers, how, whether that 24/7 by 365 officers are liable to be transferred, as often the management says that transfer is a service condition. Yes, we can transfer anywhere. So what does the DFS guideline dated 3rd May 2012 say, and how the bank is not following that? Over to Rao, Comrade.
Yeah, Comrade Lokesh, it is this particular circular is on timeliness of transfers and promotions in public sector banks. It is a timeliness of transfers and promotions in public sector banks. So this the guidelines is that all banks have to complete their transfers as well as promotions before 30th June of each year. All transfer exercise, promotion exercise, everything has to be completed before 30th June of each year. And in case any under administrative exigencies, if any transfer is to be done after 30th June, even on administrative exigencies, it is very clearly said, even on administrative exigencies, the each transfer, whether it is inter-zone, within the region or within the city or whatever it may be, it requires prior approval from the board of directors. It is prior approval, not the ratification. Once you do and take ratification, it is not like that. Any transfer after 30th June, prior approval from board of directors is required. And even as on date, the DFS did not say that the previous guidelines need not follow, you have to follow the new guidelines, nothing like that. Okay, so this circular is still in vogue. These guidelines are still in vogue. That means whatever promotion process is due, it should be completed before 30th June. And whatever transfer is there, it should be completed before 30th June. Because why this is made is the government of India want to facilitate the officers, their family life, their children education, then settlement in the new place. All that has to be taken place before the commencement of the new academic year, so that they will shift their families, take their children admissions into the schools, then settle there and continue there for one particular tenure of 3 years or 4 years, whatever the case may be, or till they are eligible for transfer from that place. So in order to facilitate their family life, children's education, this particular guidelines are given. But unfortunately, in Bank of Baroda, transfers are being done round the clock in the name of administrative exigency. When we have sought a clarification from the DFS, they have very clearly told that there are 5 exigencies which are not in the hands of anybody. The situation which is not in the hands of anybody is called exigency. For example, death. There is a sudden death of an officer which necessitates to fill the vacuum. Then second one is retirement or resignation. Retirement and resignation. Third one is suspension. There is some problem. If a person is suspended, then that also is to be filled up. Then
To fill up the resultant vacancy. To fill up the resultant vacancy.
Promotions. For example, if a person working in scale 1 is promoted as scale 2 and still he is working in the rural branch, he may be shifted to a better place, or for completion of his rural service he may have to be shifted, and that is to be filled up by this one. So this promotion will not come here because all the promotions are to be completed within 30th June. So promotion will not come. Then comes only death, retirement, resignation and suspension. These are the 4 administrative exigencies under which you can make the mid-academic transfers, that too after taking prior approval from the board of directors. You have to explain to the board that this is the exigency, we have to make it. Then board has to give the permission. This is what exactly that circular says. But unfortunately here what happened is, in Bank of Baroda what is happening, if a person in an open meeting gives a proper reply to the regional manager or zonal manager or the vertical or even somebody Tom, Dick and Harry working in the regional office or zonal office, if this man gives a proper reply and if that other person is not having that much of knowledge to digest the reply, then his ego will be hurt. And immediately this fellow will be transferred. Though he is a performing manager, performing officer and nothing adverse is there, he will be simply removed and posted outside the place. And that is the recent example is that Mumbai zonal manager has done series of transfers in the month of November 2025 in spite of the clear
Yes, you are rightly challenged those. You have rightly challenged those also.
Yeah. And we have written a letter to the zonal manager, and the zonal manager very sarcastically replied that we have not violated any of the rules.
There is a written communication, correct.
And we need not take any permission, prior approval from since it is within the city. But
now I am stopping you here. I am stopping you here because I will come back. I simply want that crux of the issue is that government of India being the welfare state. It wants that the officers should not be subjected to the mid-academic transfers because it results into that their children's education is disrupted. Their families are forced to relocate suddenly, all of a sudden. And officers may face mental stress, immense mental stress. So government has some welfare idea, but management is not following that. In short, that is the crux, na? Now,
in short, that is the crux.
Now I want your comment on one more thing. Now I want your comment and that advisory or that guidance on one more thing. That whereas the government of India has given the guidelines that any transfer which is made in mid-academic will require prior approval of the board of directors.
Yes.
Bank of Baroda diluting that, or that it should not go to the board, has minimized that level in their manpower policy. That manpower policy clause, I think 10. Good. So, Comrade Rao, what I understand from your that addressing, that the crux of the issue is that the government of India, being a welfare state, wants that there should be some regulated system for that transfers of the bank officers. Like mid-academic transfer should not take place because their children's education is disrupted. their families are destabilized and relocated suddenly. Then officers face immense mental stress. So to not let them face it, that guidelines of 2012 were introduced and they are still in force, which gave a rider that the board of directors permission is required for any transfer if it is done in mid-academic. That is the right spirit. What I hope actually you wanted to address it.
Yes.
And that rider instead should have been taken as it is by the bank. What I understand that our bank diluted it in its manpower policy, clause 10, still wanted to give that same thing. In transfer policy, it has not referred it. But in manpower policy, clause 10, it is referred. That any transfer, mid-academic transfer, if there is any transfer intra-zone, inter-region, inter-state, within center, within city, Comment Bhushan, kindly display that, continue, that I'm talking about manpower policy clause 10. It checks the bank that at least any such transfer will require that prior approval of Chief General Manager HR. So how do you look at when both the things are put up together? DFS guideline dated 3rd May 2012, read with that manpower policy transfer, manpower policy dated 13th February 2024, clause 10. When we put them together, I feel that bank really cannot transfer on whims and fancies throughout the year. So while putting these together, DFS guideline 2012 May and also this manpower policy clause 10 of 2024, addressing those together, kindly explain the situation. Whether bank, whatever is doing, should not do, and we are rightly resisting, and whether the comrades are not aware, officers are not aware, whether the management itself has forgotten that they made some policy and they are not following that, whether they have themselves forgotten that just 2 years back they brought the policy and the clause 10 is forgotten by them. Kindly explain, kindly put the line. Comrade Rao.
Comrade, we are living in India where we frame the rules and laws. Okay. But we go as per the convenience. And if permits by power. If I have power, whatever I am doing is the rule, whatever I am doing is the law. Okay, this is what is happening in what happened in Bank of Baroda also. See, we have been taking up this issue of mid-academic transfer since 2019 and 2020 in this bank, Bank of Baroda. Because of our pressure, because of our writing to the DFS and rising at various levels, in 2024, the bank has brought in the policy that, in the policy itself, guidelines in 2024 policy, that all mid-academic transfers prior approval from the CGM is to be taken. It is there in the policy. Accordingly, we have stalled many of the mid-academic transfers. Then there was a hue and cry among the controlling officers, जनरल मैनेजर्स एंड रीजनल मैनेजर्स, अरे हम जिसको चाहे अगर ट्रांसफर नहीं कर पाए तो हम बैंक को कैसा चलाएंगे, रीजन को कैसा चलाएंगे? लोगों को अंदर डर तो होना है ना, अगर काम नहीं करता है या कुछ अनवांटेड अनएथिकल थिंग्स कोई रेजिस्ट करता है, अगर उसको ट्रांसफर करके नहीं डराएंगे तो हम काम कैसे लेंगे, रीजन को कैसे चलाएंगे, जोन को कैसे चलाएंगे? Some of the zonal managers and regional managers went to the ED and perhaps MD also, and they said that ये clause को निकालना पड़ेगा. Then they have removed that clause in 2025 policy. But what happened is that by then the manpower planning policy has already come in 2024 itself. In 24 transfer policy, the CGM permission clause is there. The same clause is incorporated in the manpower planning also. And
I'm interrupting in between. Actually, it is a beautiful coincidence when we challenged the transfer policy of the bank in Rajasthan High Court, making Union of India DFS also as a respondent number one. This is a beautiful actually development. At that time, when the notices were taken by the Government of India lawyer, that time these were analyzed, and that made the bank, because our bank brought the policy when in 20 for 3 years.
Yeah.
For 3 years means actually it 23 and 1 month's extension it came. December 20 it came, and 1 month's extension means January 20. In January 20 means from 1st of February 20, the bank brought a policy for 3 years.
Yes.
So which should have continued. But in between, because of the notices served upon and matter was analyzed by the Government of India, that DFS issued the revised guidelines to all public sector banks.
Yes.
Dated 26th of November 24.
Yes.
So that is a beautiful development because of your organization, All India Bank of Baroda Officers Union, who raised the voice. And beautifully, there is a clause, because we are minority union, the majority union, so-called by default in Bank of Baroda, that there is a clause that they will be consulted. In the transfer policy, there is a clause. I do not know whether they were consulted or not. They have given that consent or not.
No.
But I am telling you, but that earlier policy had that clause of approval required by the GMHR. That is removed. You are right. That is removed. From transfer policy, it is removed. That rider. But coincidentally, beautifully, in manpower policy, clause 10, it states as that CGM's approval is required.
Yes.
So now still within the bank's policy, that shield cover is there, and the bank is not following it. My question to you is, what do you feel? Whether bank, after that making or approving that manpower policy of 13th February 24, itself has forgotten that there is still a rider. And they are feeling that they are free while removing that clause from transfer policy.
No, they have not forgotten.
That I want to know.
Yeah. Wow. This management say that the majority association will never question the management. They will never take up the issue of any officer if any arbitrary or violation of the guidelines happens. So far in the history of our bank, Bank of Baroda, the majority association has never written any letter to the management that this policy has been violated. So, since the majority association is hand in glove with the management, and management is again hand in glove with the majority association, both are going hand in hand, no one will question. So we can, okay, you go ahead with any of the transfers, because no one is going to rise. But unfortunately, there is a association union called All India Bank of Baroda Officers Union, which is reminding
that is fortunate, not unfortunate.
For the management, I am telling you.
Okay.
For the management, it is unfortunate that there is a union called All India Bank of Baroda Officers Union that is reminding them, look, there is a clause given by you, my dear management, please look at your own guidelines. You are violating. And we have written several letters to the management that the violations are being done by the regional heads as well as zonal heads. They did not take prior approval from the CGMHR, and this amounts to insubordination. The management simply kept quiet. The same thing in an open meeting, if a scale 1 or scale 2 manager say no to the regional manager or zonal manager, immediately he will be booked under insubordination. Immediately, within no time. But when the head office guidelines or the BCC guidelines or the bank's guidelines or the board guidelines, see, a transfer policy approved by the board. So board guidelines are not followed by a zonal manager or a regional manager. It is not insubordination. This is what the management says. And when we have written that it is clear insubordination, there is no communication from the management to us denying that it is insubordination or accepting that it is insubordination. Okay. Since they have not denied writing a letter to us, it amounts to insubordination that management is accepting, but only thing, it is not invoking that insubordination to them. This is one thing.
Correct.
And I would like to mention that broad daylight violation of the 2025 policy is that instead of management going for picking on longest stay basis, they are going for pick and choose policy. If you see the 2025 transfer policy guideline 7.1a,
A.
7.1a, it
Bhushan, can you
clearly says
display
that,
7.1a? Can you display it when Rao is addressing it?
yeah,
7.1a.
I'm trying, sir.
I'll
Please
read it.
continue. Please continue the discussion. I'm trying.
Yeah, Rao.
yeah.
Please go ahead.
7.1a says that criteria for the transfers. It is called criteria for the transfers. So, what is the criteria? Criteria is the longest stay is the criteria. They said that for inter-zonal, inter-regional, or out of city, out of center, or out of place, any transfer, interregional, inter-regional, or within the region, if it is within the outside the city, outside the center, outside the place, longest stay is the criteria.
For your convenience, I will read out it for that audience and officers. That are clause 7.1a of the transfer policy of the bank, which is in force, says that identification of the officers for interzonal, inter-region, or transfers out of the city, oblique place, oblique center, shall be primarily on the basis of longest stay of officers in the zone, region, or city, oblique place, oblique center, as the case may be.
Yeah, as the case may be. Yes.
As the case may be. Means even within center, if there is some transfer, 7.1a has a rider. Continue.
What exactly this clause says that suppose there are two officers in one place, called a small place like Kovur. There are two officers, one manager and two officers. And there is a real an exigency that somebody died, somebody thing has happened, and some nearby, this is the nearby branch, and somebody is to be, out of two officers, one is to be picked up. Okay, agreed. So here, the senior most out of two, who is the longest stay in the branch, is to be picked up. Not that they like one officer, the manager says this officer is to be with me, I can relieve the other officers. Based on that, the RM picks the other officer and transfers. This is wrong. Even if there is one place means only one branch. In that one branch, if there are two officers, you have to pick the senior most. That is called longest stay criteria. And in a center, for example, center like Rajmundry, we have 6 or 7 branches. From this center, if you want to remove somebody and post outside, out of these 6 or 7 branches, the longest stay criteria, the person having 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whosoever may be having the longest stay, he is to be removed and to be placed. Because this circular is very clear, the guideline is very clear. And city, for example, Hyderabad city. From Hyderabad city, if you want to remove somebody and post outside the Hyderabad city, then you have to choose the longest stay in the entire city. If somebody has completed 7 years, that fellow is to be removed first. Next, if somebody has completed 6 years, he should be removed the next. But here what happens is, a person with 6 months experience from Gadyanaram branch of Hyderabad, he has been removed last time and posted to Peddur, which is 300 kilometers away from Hyderabad. 250 or 300 kilometers away from Hyderabad. He has completed only 6 months service in Hyderabad city. So he has been removed. And when we questioned it, they said we have officers can be transferred anywhere in India.
Then where is the policy?
Anywhere in India.
Then where is the police?
Anywhere in India, as per the officer service regulation. They said like that. Anyway, I'll come to that point later. So
in that case, there
city,
should not have been
out
any
of
policy.
out of the city means out of Hyderabad, out of Jaipur, some they are called cities. Cities means you will have 15, 20, 25, 30 branches like that. Okay. Center means you have 4, 5, 6, maximum 10 branches in a center. Place means 1 or 2 branches in a place. So this is a city, center, place definitely comes within the region. So a person who is going from this center to another center in another region, no. This pertains.
Now, Rao, same question I have now, and I am
No,
coming
wait,
to
wait.
Bhushan.
Let
Then
me
I will
let
come
me
back.
complete.
Now,
Let me
now,
complete. Let me
okay, fine.
let me
Okay,
complete.
fine. Do.
Let me complete.
Yes, please.
I have completed the place, center, city. Now I will come to region, inter-region. So in the inter-region also, if they have to post somebody from this region to other region, again the regional manager or zonal manager has no choice except picking the longest stay as per the clause. And inter-zone also, within the zone, the longest stay. Among all the 5 regions, 6 regions, 7 regions, among all the regions, yes, the longest stay, whosoever is the person longest stay in the zone, is to be removed and posted to another zone. So the clause has very, very clearly said, as the case may be. That means if it is inter-zone or inter-region or within the region, if it is outside the city, outside the place or outside the center, longest stay is the criteria for making the for picking up the people, not the manmani. Now what happens is they are picking, because what happened is these people are used for that for decades together. In Bank of Baroda, the management has become habitual for decades together that they can transfer, because till the merger there is no other union except All India Bank of Baroda Officers Association affiliated to INBOC, Indian National Bank Officers Confederation.
That was by default they were majority.
Which is again affiliated to Congress Party. Okay. Right? So,
yes,
this particular union, so management felt that, see, suppose you are doing something wrong.
They are having hand in glove. No? They are having hand in glove to get accommodated. They are 1 dozen, 2 dozen favorites.
On a road, if you are going on the wrong side and the police take 1 rupee or 10 rupees from your hand and allows you, so it is also here like that. For what gains the management is, for what gains the union is allowing the management to do like this, we don't know. We really don't know. But however,
people are not questioning also them. That is also surprising.
No,
they are subscribing subscription every month to them. They are not questioning that leadership.
Yeah. When you are going on the wrong side, the police will question you. If the police doesn't question you, you will continuously go on the wrong side, and it becomes a habit. You feel that going on the right side instead of left side is the law of the land. So here what happened? The newly becoming from scale 1 to 2, 3, 4, then 5, they become RMs, then 6, they become DGMs, zonal heads, or the regional heads, like that,
Now, if the police is having hand in glove with any criminal and hafta wasuli is regularized, in that case, those dons actually feel that okay, we can make the hafta wasuli also.
No,
that is the issue. Anyway, that is to let the people understand in a normal language.
No, it is a law breaking. It is a law breaking. Yeah. If the law, see, the role of any union in any organization is the watchdog union, watchdog philosophy. Any union has to adopt it. That means when if management is not following the rules and regulations as laid in the circulars and guidelines, the union has to tell that this is the circular, this is the rule, you have to go like this.
And let me go for 2 minutes to Bhushan.
And when you are going on the road, and when the police don't stop you and say, okay, Baba, go, don't worry, you will never go in the right way. The same thing has happened with the Bank of Baroda management.
Yes,
I
got
am
it.
I am specifically
Now let me
because I
let
have
me first go to Bhushan now.
large number of representations with me. I can show to anyone, even in the court of law, I can show that these are the representations, violations made by the bank. Okay,
Few.
made by the management while doing the transfers.
Now give me a
Okay.
few minutes now. Give me a few minutes. Let me go first to Bhushan. Bhushan, our General Secretary has explained at length that now you tell me the same question which I made to Comrade General Secretary. Whether bank remembers that yes, 7.1A clause is there or it has forgotten.
Uh,
Whether the so-called majority organization also remembers that there is some clause 7.1A and the majority organization also is not aware. Whether management is also not aware. Whether the officers have gone through the bank's own policy that yes, there is a rider and we can be protected and they are also not aware. Or in that whether they are allowing the bank to do for what we do not know. What is your opinion about it?
sir,
How the people
largely,
are facing that all
मैं
kind of injustice,
मैं आपका
harassment, victimization.
मैं आपका क्वेश्चन तो समझ गया। देखिए, इसमें लार्जली व्हाट वी हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड सो फार इन लास्ट 2-3 years ओवर पीपल कमिंग एंड शेयरिंग द प्लाइट, लार्जली मैनेजमेंट इसको फॉरगो करके प्रोसीड कर रहा है। 7.1A मोर प्रिसाइजली अबाउट द टेन्योर। अब हम तो इसमें हमारे कॉमरेड तो आवाज़ उठा लेते हैं, आपके थ्रू जो है हमारी आवाज़ें पहुंचती हैं। बट मैंने देखा है जो दूसरी यूनियन के भी, जो मेजोरिटी यूनियन के भी लोग हमसे कनेक्ट होते हैं, वो खुद 2 महीने 3 महीने में इधर उधर हो रहे हैं, रोना रो रहे हैं। बट इस एस्पेक्ट को पॉइंट आउट करके, फिगर आउट करके रिलीफ नहीं ढूंढ रहे। what they are looking for is a mercy instead of their option or the right which is vested with them in 7.1A.
Okay. So now let me switch over to other thing while actually giving a reinforcement. So even the bank admits through its own policy that any deviation, especially mid-academic transfers, requires prior approval from the Chief General Manager HR. That is a fact which cannot be denied by anyone. It is existing in the policy. So now I'm coming back to our General Secretary. Comrade Rao, one more thing I want to ask you, that when that DFS has given the guideline in November 24, 26th November 24, after our writ petition is pending in the Rajasthan High Court, it has brought one beautiful guideline also, that officers up to scale 3 have to be given the postings within the linguistic area or nearby zones.
Yes.
That is the DFS guidelines. And how come that the bank has violated that regulation 51 of its own, not considering that DFS guidelines as mandatory? That is because there have been episodes, because of the linguistic problem, certain officers have faced that public violence also. That communication skill of every particular area. If somebody is scale 4 and above, actually they are posted in the mostly in the metro centers. So there people are acquainted with that English language also, no problem. But up to scale 3, there are large branches in rural areas also, and in that case, some typical local language is talked about. And when the officer is not able to interact with them, they have to face that violence also. So how come that in our bank, that linguistic area rider, that posting to be given in the nearby zones, it is being violated? On that, I want your address to the our comrades, our officers, as well as through this episode to the management also, to remind that yes, there is some DFS guidelines which you have not followed. Over to Ram.
In fact, we are happy that due to our consistent efforts and dragging the DFS into the court, the DFS suddenly woke up and got the transfer policies of all the banks. They made a study and they found that their guidelines are not implemented in toto by many of the public sector banks. Many of the or almost all the public sector banks, because whatever guidelines they have given, they have been diluted over the period of years, and unfortunately no union has gone to the extent of telling the DFS that your guidelines have been, you are the owner and your guidelines have been violated. We are the only people, we told the DFS that you are the owner of these public sector banks and your guidelines are being floated, are being violated or diluted. Then DFS woke up, got the policies from all the banks, studied, and then gave a beautiful guidelines for all public sector banks. For all public sector banks. The first one is, see, the beauty of that policy is that it is a transfer policy for all employees. They never said it is officers up to scale 3 or up to scale 5 or no, it is not like that. It is a transfer policy for all public sector bank employees, including clerical employees, in my opinion. Okay, they may be holding the policy with the majority clerical associations. They may, but the guidelines from the owner is this. Okay, in that there are so many points. But what our bank has not incorporated and violated, let me share with you. One is that up to scale 3 officers, they should be posted within the linguistic area. Within the linguistic area, even whether it is inter-zone or whatever it may be. That means suppose the Bangalore people working in Karnataka and who know only Kannada, they can be shifted from Bangalore zone to Mangalore zone and not more than that. Okay. So, or at the maximum, the nearby places where they do not find this language problem. Otherwise, we have so many press clippings that people were beaten by the customers because for the simple reason that they were not speaking the local language. They were not conversing with in the local language. Okay. State Bank of India, several clippings are there. In our Bank of Baroda also. Yes. So, it is the failure of the management. See, when State Bank of India and other banks, they were recruiting the local bank officers for this purpose only. They were recruiting local bank officers for the last 10 years. Last 10 years. And why Bank of Baroda has failed to recruit the local bank officers for the last 10 years? Nobody knows. And every bank was given autonomy, partial autonomy for HR issues. In I think 2006 or 2007 itself, almost 2 decades back, the banks were given autonomy. And in between, having the people having seen the problems of this local language, many banks started recruiting the local bank officers. Okay. And now they are fully equipped. See, for example, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank of India, there is no inter-zone transfer for officers up to scale 3. There is no inter-zonal transfer up to scale 3 in Punjab National Bank and Union Bank. Whereas in our bank, it is still there. It is still there because our bank failed to recruit the local bank officers. And the majority association also failed to advise them. I have not come across any such letter or any circular so far issued by the majority association suggesting the management or even any structured management, any of this one, I have not come across with any of the such suggestion that this bank should recruit local bank officers to mitigate the sufferings. See, they are there, after all, they are their own members. If a officer is beaten by a local bank, by in Maharashtra or in Karnataka, their own member is beaten, but there is no solution from them. Okay. So, only after we have raised this issue, this local bank officers issue with the DFS, even in court also we have made a mention, and to the management also several times we have written. Then only, this year only, the management has recruited or is recruiting, the process of recruiting is still going on, is recruiting 2,500 local bank officers, for which 1,260 officers are earmarked for Gujarat alone.
Now here, one more addition I want to give you, Rao, to make your comment. that in the same DFS guideline, there is one more thing, important thing, that a bank is supposed to display, notify that seniority list in terms of that longest stay for
I am
effecting
coming.
the transfers.
I am coming to that. That is second point.
That also bank what has done last year, and how that exercise which is ahead now for this year, coming year. How do you look at the things? How do you look at the things? That also I want. Please continue.
See, when the power has gone to the minds, to the head, power has gone to the head and allowed by the majority association. Again, I am telling, I am not criticizing. It is allowed, simply allowed by them, that the power has gone to the heads of the executives. So, what happened is that
Seniority list in terms of longest stay.
Seniority. See, the seniority we have been demanding since long time. If you remember, 2019 itself, we have written after amalgamation and formed this union. We have written a letter to the bank to display the seniority. Okay, so they have not done so far. But last time, since they made it mandatory, the DFS guidelines made it mandatory. Two things they made it mandatory. One is display of the seniority based on the zonal seniority, regional seniority, zonal seniority based on the date of joining in the zone or region. Okay, and digitalization of the process. That means the bank has to display the seniority list. Accordingly, the system will pick them up. And
in terms of longest stay. In terms of longest stay.
Yes, yes. You need not pick anybody. The system will pick up. That is what the digitalization means.
Regarding automation, also there is a guideline. Automation about transfers.
Yes. In January, November 2024, the guidelines have come, and January 2025, the 19th January 2025, the DFS has given another issued another letter in continuation of these 2024 guidelines, that it should be automated, digitalized and automated. The transfer process should be automated. Unfortunately, not only the seniority list, bank has to display the vacancies also.
True.
Branch wise.
For giving the options.
Not that in this region there are 10 vacancies of scale 1, 5 vacancies scale 2. It is not like that. They have to display the branch wise vacancies, so that the incumbent officer will definitely choose, if he has got a choice, that I want to go to this branch. And if there are two people opting for the same branch,
what will be the SOP?
Then what will be the SOP? That also bank has to give, whether they should take the seniority, what they have spent outside, or whether they should take the age as the criteria. Here, what happened is in 2000...
any SOP can be good. Correct.
No, because why we wanted the SOP is that in 2021, bank has effected the interzonal transfers, who are supposed to come back in 2024. Bank did not allow them. Only ladies were made to come back. Gents officers are there.
Gender bias.
Even if their wife and husband also working
it is gender bias. No? One cannot do it.
No. Let me complete. Even if it is, see, first of all, 2021 people are to be brought in 2024. That is as per the previous procedures. But here what they have done is 21 officers, male officers are allowed to stay back. Female officers were brought back. And even in that, wife and husband, if they are working in a particular city, the husband is not transferred along with the wife. Wife is separated, husband is separated.
Correct.
So, then what happened? 2022 people are to be brought in 25. In 25, both 21 batch and 22 batch have been brought back. People who stayed 4 years outside and people who stayed 3 years, some of the, while allotting the regions, they have preferred the people worked for 3 years, bypassing the people worked for 4 years. When we questioned them, The regional manager, the zonal manager, they are telling that where is the SOP? You show me. आज 4 साल वाले को पहले प्रेफरेंस कहाँ देना है? Where is the SOP? They are asking. यार तो common sense है ना? It is a common sense ना?
If at all they are questioning, then it is the job of the bank to make the SOP.
What is meant by longest stay? Longest stay is to be preferred, no? For any transfer, longest stay is to be preferred. So the longest stay people are not given the choice place, whereas 3 years people they are given choice because it is their men, their people. They want to pick, they want to favor. So when we questioned that, they said there is no SOP. Again, we wrote to the management that an SOP is required when for the incoming people, how they should be treated. What is the guidelines? Not only simple guidelines, pinpointed guidelines. If there is a problem comes like this, one place is vacant and there are 2 or 3 officers opting for that. Well, what should be the guidelines, prevailing guidelines? This exactly we asked the management. So here, last time what happened is, now coming back to the publication of the seniority list. The management has published the seniority list, a first seniority list along with the date of joining in the zone. So within 1 day or within 24 hours, the list have been removed. Then again one more list has come. Again here what happened is a person in 24th seniority has gone to third.
Management is tampering with the system.
Yes. Management.
Yes.
It is nothing but tampering of the system. Then when I asked the concerned general manager, what happened? Why you did this? Then he said that the date of joining, kindly listen, this is a very important point.
Correct.
All the people should listen how the management is befooling the officers. See, in the first list they said that the date of joining as a clerk has also come in that. That's why we have removed the date of joining and given a fresh list. Okay. Then I asked, fresh list is given on what is the criteria or what is the data on which this list is drawn? They said seniority in the region, seniority in the zone. Okay, then you give me how that seniority have arrived. No answer. You have to believe us.
There was example of that Lucknow.
Yes.
That one who was staying at 31, he came on 7 number.
Yes, he came into 7 number.
Yeah.
So, okay, let it be. Mistakes are bound to happen in a bigger bank. See, unfortunately,
mistake is another thing, but deliberately tampering with the record is something else.
No. Let me tell you. The Bank of Baroda should have denied the merger, stating that we cannot manage a bigger bank. Okay. So the Bank of Baroda must have denied at that time itself that, Baba, I cannot manage a bigger bank. Okay, I don't want any mergers. You merge any other fellow. But unfortunately or fortunately, it merged, and now the resultant is that they are unable to handle the people, unable to handle the HR issues. So then what happens when you cannot?
Can you come little closer to your mic? Because Because of the,
when you cannot handle anything, then you will start browbeating. Anybody, when you cannot accept that I cannot handle, so you will be browbeating that whatever I have done is right. Whatever we have done is right. This is what is going on unchecked for decades together. Though there is an association which is collecting the money from the members only to check certain things, is simply interested only in making crores of rupees in their account, getting the credit in their account, but not living up to the expectations of their members. This is the main problem. If they are doing their job, naturally we need not exist. This is what I always think. Okay, so anyway, now coming to the violation of the 2024 DFS guidelines. One is that posting of people in the linguistic area. This clause is not incorporated in Bank of Baroda transfer policy up to scale 3. Then posting of lady officers, especially single mother having some problems, all those things, that clause is also not incorporated in our transfer policy. But a little bit touch is given that with autism, this, that, and all. But that also they are not implementing. When I took up the cases of autism with the general manager concerned, he says that Rao, what is this? So many people are coming with autism. What is to be done? There is a rule that people suffering from autism are to be given exemption. You are not giving. You are sending them away. That means you are violating. You yourself, you are giving the circular, and you yourself is violating. That you yourself is insubordinating yourself. No way.
For themselves, they are violating the guidelines of government. They are violating the board directives. Policies framed by the board.
Yes. No, signed by the chief general manager.
That is insubordination.
Signed by the GM, chief general managers. Okay. So they are insubordinating themselves, which is not happening anywhere in India or anywhere in the world, I believe. Okay. Anyway, then another thing is that avoiding of mid-academic transfers. Okay.
So can we summarize like that, Rao? Can we summarize like that the government itself mandates postings of the officers up to scale 3 within linguistic area, and publication of the zone-wise seniority list, and disclosure of the vacancies, that is the summary, and which the government bank is not doing, which is missing in the Bank of Baroda.
That's why we have filed a case against the bank in Jaipur High Court, and till now there is no proper reply from the bank. No proper reply from the bank. One reply they are giving that there is a clause in the officer service regulation that they can be posted anywhere in India. Anywhere in India. Okay, anywhere in India they can be posted subjected to certain guidelines. Again given by the owners.
In that petition, it is interesting development that zonal head Mumbai has also been impeded as a respondent number 7.
Yes. Yes.
He is answerable for that, whatever he has done in that recently in Mumbai.
Yeah. He has openly given a letter that he need not take, the posting is within the city, so he need not take the approval. Taking of approval does not arise at all. But he has forgotten that 7.1a, if it is inter-region, they never say inter-region subject to within city, they are never told. So his interpretation is wrong. What is not there he has interpreted. What is not there in the circular.
He claims that he does not need the permission.
He does not.
Mid-academic year, he doesn't need the permission of CAGM-HR. He is in utter violation of that regulation, clause 10 of manpower policy.
Yeah, that is one thing. And so these violations, when violations are there, and in the beauty of the 2025 or any transfer circular or any promotion circular, the last line contains that this policy has been framed in due consultation with the majority association. That means the majority association knows each and everything of the policy, yet they fail to bring the negative issues of the policy.
Yes.
Negative issues of the policy, because they are not, it appears that they are not really interested in the welfare of their members. Really. Otherwise, see, if you are my family member and somebody is putting a rule on my family member which is negative, which is detrimental to my member, I will definitely go and fight with those people. But why the leadership of the so-called majority association, he has not issued a single circular or single letter? We really don't understand that these mid-academic transfers are to be stopped. And another beauty is that because of our constant pressure that mid-academic transfer should not be done, the CGM HR has issued a
internal communication to Jados or Auros only.
Not internal.
Not making that public. Not making it public.
Yes. Confidential communication to the zonal heads that they should restrain from the mid-academic transfers and if any transfer they want to do, they should consult they should write to they should take prior approval from the CGM HR. This is what he has issued a letter.
Correct.
Unfortunately, nothing is secret in this world. So the communication copy has come to us. Okay. So when he himself has given such a communication to the journal heads freely floated those guidelines, and some say that it is not required. His approval is not required at all. Okay. So some they have simply taken a stereotype of approval. They picked somebody and they have transferred. And these people never asked, have you violated any such guidelines contained in transfer policy? Nothing. Some XYZ they have mentioned that XYZ approval has been given by CGM.
For a small fraction of time. So for a small fraction of time.
One example I can tell you. And apart from this, the CGM, the CGM has delegated, I don't know whether he delegated or the zonal managers themselves delegated the powers of CGM. If the regional heads, they transfer they affect the intra-region transfers, they are taking the permission from the zonal managers. I don't know.
Now here I want to clarify that the powers are delegated to CGM by the board. And as per law, none of the delegated powers can be further delegated.
Yes.
So if that board has given the power to CGM HR, that CGM HR even cannot further delegate that power to anyone. Yeah, that is the condition. So whatever they are reading, it is absolutely wrong.
Whether they do not know the law or deliberately, yes, whatever we can do, who is going to ask? Who is going to ask? See, this is happened for the decades together, comrade, decades together. Now, unfortunately for the management, we are questioning. Look, you cannot do like this. This is the circular. This is the guideline. This is the law. And these are you should not be above the law. We are telling them, and they are feeling pain of it.
Yes.
So now, and when we are raising the issue, we are not receiving any reply stating that you are a minuscule union. You are a minuscule union. We need not reply. But issue what we raised is logical, legal, and tenable. That they are not able to. They are not understanding. They are not understanding.
Correct. So any big tree once had been a small plant.
Yeah, what happened is when they don't respond, we are writing further, we are escalating further, and it is going round. See, nothing is a secret in this today's world. So our circulars, our letters, definitely not secret. Definitely these things are being picked up by some hello banker or canal or somebody because it is circulating. We have circulated to our members. Member can circulate to anybody. So through that. They are reaching those social media people, and they are writing the same thing. Whatever we have written, they are reproducing the same thing, by which the bank image is getting spoiled. Really, we don't know. The way we have written and it is circulated, it is not, bank image is not spoiled. But the same thing is picked, reproduced by somebody else and showing what is happening in Bank of Baroda. The Bank of Baroda image is spoiled. Okay, if the management feels that Bank of Baroda image is really spoiled, okay, let them show that we are wrong. At least let them write a letter to us that you are wrong. And instead, what happened? People are some lower level cadre people. They are issuing me a note. They have issued me a notice. They asked me to apologize for bringing up the officers' issues to the management. I should apologize to the management. I don't know. This happens only in Bank of Baroda. Nowhere, even Punjab National Bank MD will not ask to apologize his union leaders. Or Union Bank of India MD or their HR people will ask their even Union Bank of India or even Indian Bank. There are 15 to 20 cases always pending by one particular union, that is AABOA, against the management always. Yet they go, they sit together, they try to sort out many things, and wherever it is they could not sort out, they are going to the court, and sometimes they are getting favorable, sometimes they may not be getting favorable, but that is a different issue. But that is what. Here what happens is that the person who is really incapable of showing the deficiencies of the management, they are conducting the structured meeting with them only, and no other remaining 6 unions are there. 6 unions are there other than majority association in our bank. These 6 unions are not at all consulted. They are not listening. All the 6 unions are writing like us only, pointing out the issues, but they are not rectifying the mistakes. Why they are not rectifying the mistakes? Because the mistakes are innumerable. Innumerable. How they can rectify it? It is impossible. To cover one mistake, another mistake being done. To cover that mistake, another mistake is being done. So, unless the system is totally revamped and everyone follows the circular meticulously, everyone is made to follow the circular guidelines meticulously, this bank cannot have a systematic approach. So this is my conclusion as far transfer policy is concerned. And I request each and every officer to go through the transfer policy meticulously, read it. The policy is made for you, my dear comrades, my dear friends. It is made for you by the management. And what is there in the policy, please read it. Okay. And
Policy as well as DFS guidelines.
Yeah,
As
but
well as
tamasha
DFS
kya
guidelines.
hai? See, DFS has given the guidelines. It has circulated worldwide. It has gone worldwide. Okay, no issue. Because they are put in the domain and everyone is downloading it. Whereas our bank also, they issue the circulars, they issue the letters, but they issue the letters for the officers, for the sake of officers, for their guidelines, how to, what to do, what not to do, but they will not be known to the officers. ये क्या तमाशा है? मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि आपके लिए मैं कानून बनाता हूं, लेकिन आपकी जानकारी में नहीं देता हूं, आपकी जानकारी में नहीं देता हूं, आपकी हित में या अहित में मैं आपके लिए कानून बनाता हूं, लेकिन आपको जानकारी नहीं देता हूं. Nowhere in the world, including I think Pakistan or Afghanistan, I don't know, nowhere in the world this happens. This happens only in Bank of Baroda. This is happening in only Bank of Baroda. So I request the authorities, if you are really issuing letters in the interest of the officers, why don't you make it public? Okay, CGM general managers not to make the transfers, media government transfers, and there are certain guidelines given. Same guidelines. You tell each and every officer, Baba, these are the guidelines. If any bloody ZM or RM violates, you come to me. I am HR. I am the licensing officer between the management and yourself. I am the licensing agency. I am not the management, not working under the management, or I am not working under something. I am an independent authority. I am a licensing authority. So this is what I have issued the instruction to the general manager and the regional manager. If they violate, you come to me. Instead, they are secretly giving the circulars, secretly giving the letters, which are meant for the officers again, which are meant for the staff. They are giving secret circulars to the general managers and regional managers. So now you can, comrades, friends, now you can think it over what is happening in our bank. So please arise, awake, and create some awareness. Try to have self-awareness about the circulars, about the guidelines, and still, if you feel any problem or having any issue, please write to us, call us. We are there, and our circulars are there with you. Our phone numbers are with you. So please kindly call us. We will definitely guide you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Comrade Rao. Actually, that as summary, what I feel, that the issue is not merely administrative. Behind every arbitrary transfer, there is a family, a child's education, and an officer under severe stress. That is a fact. I'm coming to Bhushan. That the way our General Secretary has expressed, entire view of that policy is entire actually absence of application of mind, no justice, arbitrariness, self-styled functioning of HR, and even closing the doors for social dialogues. What we are making communication to bank that these are the issues, they are not reading, they are not going through. We are approaching, give us the window for social dialogues. We want to express, listen us. We will not make you to write whatever we want, but at least give us the window, we can convince you. So how do you look at the things that a common officer who are aloof of the facts, but they are sufferers. But they are sufferers. So how do you look, Comrade Bhushan? Your views are also important. Please subscribe. And also supplement that how can such violations be prevented? What are your suggestions? How can such violations be prevented?
तो देखिए, इसमें मेरा मानना ये है कि फियर फैक्टर जो क्रिएट किया गया है बैंक में, विच इज स्टॉपिंग पीपल टू वॉइस देयर ओपिनियन, इवन पीपल दे आर अवेयर. Unfortunate thing is कि competent authority, their immediate reporting authority, they are not able to portray the violations what is being done. And if being done, this is further vindictive. Today or tomorrow, this goes little more wild, more vindictive. People, to save their own skin, they are a silent spectator, and for which these practices may be a good reason to flourish. And such kind of violation has rather become a practice. This is what I would say. And so far as to get it corrected, the correction has to come upside down, because the management should believe it is not human beings who are running. Human beings, they are a human resource. So unless they are at ease, the bank growth will be hampered. So this psychology or philosophy should be an upside down thing to this thing. Instead of people fighting at bottom level, it should be a mission and vision of the HR functionary to improvise on this matter. This is what I would like to comment. Thank you.
So now I'll come to all comrades. And also, if this message goes, this episode goes to the management also, we want to say that we are living in a civilized world, not an ancient world, not an Stone Age era. And after passing through a long journey, service conditions are settled. So service conditions, if the service conditions are settled, those are to be followed by the management. And that's why what we are asking for, the transfers must be governed by law, policy, compassion, but not with arbitrariness. That is the actually crux. And the officers who are feeling that they are scared of, they should not allow that reign of terror in the bank. Come and be united. And unless and until you are connected with that, to make it a public movement, associated with that trade union movements, in isolation you will be suffering. In isolation you will be suffering continuously. And to make you overcome from this situation, All India Bank of Baroda Officers Union is the loudest voice in this large bank, Bank of Baroda. So what we want, nothing but implementation of government guidelines, implementation of bank's own policies, and officers' dignity that must be respected in letter and spirit. This is the voice of the officers. This is AIBOU, Aapki Awaaz. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.
Okay.